When I was younger, my good friend Reed and I would play outside for hours, pretending to be Pokemon trainers and battling imaginary gym leaders. Every once in a while, we'd battle each other, and although everything was always completely imaginary, I still remember the passion and excitement I felt when I was pitting my own personal Suicune against my buddy's Entei. The turn-based combat system of the original Pokemon games is of course still fun and arguably timeless, but I'm sure I wasn't the only kid who always wanted to see these Pokemon actually throwing shots at each other. Pokken Tournament is Nintendo's first venture into capturing this feeling, and the DX version was just released for Nintendo Switch. As someone who's wanted this experience for a long time, I was super excited to check it out, and I've collected my thoughts and opinions here to share with you. I had a few friends who owned a Wii U, so I got quite a few hours of play on it, but I never owned one, so I didn't get to see a lot of these ports for the first time around. Pokken is no exception to this, so I will be looking at this game from the perspective of someone buying it for the first time on Switch. Have you ever seen those creepy, hyper-realistic pictures of Pokemon on DeviantArt? Well, the Pokemon in this game aren't that realistic, but they definitely look amazing for being 3D models based on 2D sprites. The game runs at 720p and 60 FPS just like the Wii U version, and all of the character models are arguably some of the best we've seen on the Switch yet. The attention to detail on each and every one, particularly scaly Pokemon like Garchomp or Charizard, is definitely evident here. The stages, like most fighting game stages, are nothing to shake a stick at, but there are a few memorable destinations here. They really did a great job with the animations here as well. You can do standard type fighting moves on all of the characters with the X and Y buttons, as well as perform actual Pokemon moves with the A button. They really turned the fan service all the way up here with these moves. Each Pokemon has at least one signature move that already came to mind when you thought of that Pokemon. It feels so satisfying to land an Iron Tail with Pikachu or throw a Sludge Bomb on Gengar. They really tried to capture the original idea of each Pokemon and turn them into a fighting game character. This sounds simple enough, but they really could have easily just thrown recycled fighting game moves onto Pokemon character models and called it a game. There's even an attack triangle here to keep in mind, which is something all good competitive fighting games need. I will say though that assigning a number of special moves to the A button really makes them feel less powerful. There's quite a few combos to master here, but most of them are just a string of single moves chained together. I think it was important to make controlling these Pokemon easy enough for the casual fighting game fans to get that powerful feeling, but making each move so easily accessible sort of takes away from that power feeling itself. Either way, they did a great job with the character design and combat system. I'd played a few of the Naruto Ninja Storm games before, and I'd never really been a fan of the field phase style 3D combat, but after playing this title for a while, it's starting to grow on me. Maybe it's because of the option to switch between the two phases, but it definitely feels more natural and dynamic than any other similar title I'd played before. There's enough technicalities here to make fighting game fans want to practice and hone their skills, while still making it easy enough for someone who's only ever played a Pokemon RPG before to pick the game up and actually feel like they're doing something. The one thing that's always plagued the fighting game genre is the lack of diversity in modes. This trend has definitely continued in Pokken Tournament DX. There's a couple of single player modes here brought back from the original, including the story mode. The story mode just has you facing against endless hordes of Pokemon trainers in order to climb the ranks of your league. Once you beat the league though, you just move on to the next one. There are some minor battles after the league ends with some loose story elements based around the Synergy Power and Shadow Mewtwo, but it feels pretty redundant after fighting the same Pokemon over and over for a long time. Like I said though, this has always been an issue with fighting games. Grand Prix being the only single player mode in ARMS hasn't stopped me from playing over 60 hours in the last 3 months, so I won't call this necessarily a game breaker. The training dojo in this game doesn't do anything completely revolutionary, but I definitely think it's one of the best in a fighting game I've ever seen. The UI is clean and simple, and the game resets itself quickly and often so that you can focus on actually honing a certain move or combo. The online multiplayer modes are okay, but it's hard to call them great coming from the seamless and rarely stale party mode system in ARMS. We have the group match option, which lets you sort of organize your own tournament, which is actually pretty cool. I hadn't seen anything like this before, and I'm sure it would be really fun if I actually had friends who played this game. Other than that though, it's down to the standard friendly or ranked matches. One new addition in the DX version of the game is the online replay feature. You can view any player's profile and watch their most recent replays, as well as publish your own. It's super important to watch replays and learn from other people's techniques in games like this, so this is definitely a great feature. Another new feature presented in this DX version is the Team Battle mode. This lets you pick 3 Pokemon rather than just one and battle against another team of 3. I actually slightly preferred this mode because it makes the matches seem less short-winded, but you can only play it on single player or local multiplayer mode, so I didn't really see a point in practicing. If I had to guess why they left this feature out of online battles, it's to keep the competitive scene consistent, but I still don't like that reason even if it's true. If the original competitive Pokemon game scene now has double battles as an official mode, I'm sure Pokken could have team battles as well. At least they included it in the local multiplayer mode though. It does make the matches last a whole lot longer and just makes the game a lot more fun while playing together. This local multiplayer mode is another new addition with the DX version, and I can feel confident in saying that if you already own this game on Wii U and still have desire to play on the same console with friends, this is definitely reason enough to pick up this port. The frame rate drops from 60 to 30 while playing in split screen, but it was hardly noticeable in my opinion. Even when playing this mode on the Switch's handheld screen, it was still a viable way to play. It did take a minute for my eyes to adjust, but just like with ARMS, it definitely felt cool after a while to be playing this full console experience just sitting around this little tablet at the dinner table. Now, the last new addition to come with this DX version was the Daily Challenge mode. This is sort of gimmicky and basically does exactly what it sounds like. You're given a simple goal but with exact specifications on what main and support Pokemon you can use, with minor differing factors each day. Completing these challenges doesn't really reward you with anything special, but it does sort of force you to switch up your playstyle and try something different, so it's not completely pointless. Making a game like this that's based around a multi-decade lasting franchise with a lot of passionate fans was a big risk. Like I said, they could have just easily slapped a bunch of recycled Tekken animations onto some okay looking Pokemon models, but you can tell they took a lot of time and effort to make these characters. For me, as a huge Pokemon fanatic and a general fan of Switch games, this was a no-brainer purchase. Like I always do, however, I've got to look at this port version objectively. If this game had come out last year with the DX in the title, I might have looked at it a little differently, but I think Mario Kart DX sort of set the bar for what this kind of port entails. Basically, all the DX version of Mario Kart 8 did was add all the DLC, unlock all the characters straight out of the box, and also add and switch up some of the existing game modes. This is exactly what Pokken Tournament DX did as well, which is why I can't really be mad at how much new content this version of the game brought in. I think Nintendo is really trying to cement this title as one of their temple franchises, and I can't blame them for trying to keep the name relevant, especially when I never got to play the game in general, and I'm now very much enjoying it. If you thought this port was trash and undeserving of the DX title, please let me know down in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for the latest Switch content available. This is Max from Max Culture, and thank you so much for watching.